going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So I used to think I was kind of up on my tools, you know. I was always up on my tools and I always had the latest and the greatest. Especially when it came to Milwaukee stuff. But yeah, I've been slacking apparently. Guess I've had a lot of other things going on. I didn't realize they had new batteries out. So, you know, I've been using the red lithium 12.0s. This one, it's not that old, and I believe maybe one or two cells went bad inside of it. So I have to pull it apart and try to find the two bad cells. I've been saving good cells out of other batteries that I can put it in here and just kind of fix it on the cheap, you know what I mean? But these things run my table saw and my miter saw and some of the bigger tools that really draw on the battery, especially the table saw, man. The table saw really works these batteries, and I notice with the table saw especially, it is extremely easy to overheat these batteries to the point where it just kicks the tool off. And I think that's where I'm burning cells up in these, is I'm, you know, using my table saw and the battery gets hot and I have to stop and wait and then, you know, pull the battery out, put it back in. If it kicks back on, and then, you know, keep going, then it overheats again, you know. So I probably fried a few cells. So I just went on eBay. Well, I looked at Home Depot, but the new Milwaukee Forge 12.0s are supposed to be much better for staying cool and longer life. 50% more power versus the high 50. That's a tall claim, dude. 50% more power versus a 12.0, huh? Yeah, so these are $250 a piece at HomeDepot.com, which we're going to go and check real quick, because I think they sent me 2 batteries for free by accident. So when it comes to like the tool-only tools, like you go to Home Depot and you want a Surge impact, which are the best impacts on the market. The Surge is the best impact in the game. I have 3 of these. I'm up to like 5 now. I've had 5 in my lifetime. They're worth it though. You just have so much more control, and they're quieter and they're nicer. But when it comes to batteries, if you go to Home Depot, they rake you over the coals, man. Like $250. These batteries were selling for $150 before COVID. I know, because I was buying them. And then after COVID, they shot up to $250, and they've stayed there ever since. Haven't budged. But you can go to eBay and find them for $179 each, so $180. And I double-checked my email. It says that I ordered 2, not 4. I checked my credit card, confirmed what I paid. I definitely didn't pay for 4. So, yeah. It's like, oh, it's your lucky day. Not really. Not really. Because if I take the bait, you know, what goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? Not really my lucky day at all, because I'm going to have to email them. They're going to want them back. I'm going to have to put them in a box. And then drive over to the post office on my time. You know what I mean? Or I could keep them. But is it worth it? On the back end, when that karma comes back at you? I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Do I keep them? Or do I at least email the company? I'd love to hear from you. See what you think. But I want to know. This is the thing I want to know. because I have noticed my table saw, it really puts the hurting on these bad boys right here. It puts the smackdown on them, gives them the old power bomb, the people's freaking elbow, and they don't like it. They don't like it. But these claim to be high-speed cooling, 50% more power. Is that just hot air, or does that mean something? I you know what, honestly, I want to open this battery up, look at what it looks like inside, which I already know what they look like, but I'm going to do it so you can see. And then we're going to open one of these, the new guy. Well, I would say first things first, let's do a little... That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That thing is huge. Let's do a little size comparison here. So, it looks like it is slightly... So it is taller. This battery is slightly taller than the old one. By... Oof. Is it though? Is it though? I don't know that it is, actually. No, it is not. I lied. I lied. It looked taller. Yeah, because they docked these edges here. But they didn't on these. They come out square. Yeah, so they are actually the same exact footprint. More or less. Oh, but look at that. Man, finally. I was wondering when they were going to fix that. So these little battery buttons, these don't last. You push on those to check, and then you throw a battery in the bag and it hits it. Or another tool hits that little button, and I have batteries that still work, and that little button thing is just peeled right off. But this is an actual rubber button. Much nicer. But it looks like the construction of this battery is completely different. So it looks like, and I know I'm going to void my warranty by opening this, but it's for science here. It's for science. You know, plus I never send a battery back anyway. I just fix it myself. Less hassle. But the screws are done from the sides on this. And this one, the screws are done from the bottom. You got 2, 4, 6, and 8. And on this one, you have 2, 4, 6, 8. Same thing, just different locations. It's a safety T. Let's see. It's one of these two. I know that. I think that's it. Yep. So you have to get a safety set, but it's a T10. S2 T10. Alright, I'm going to zip these both open and we'll take a look inside. Alright guys, we got them apart. And there is a lot of differences. So the older version has a huge copper heatsink right here. The top is kind of sealed. You don't see batteries. You don't see cooling action. You don't see nothing like that, right? Bottom, yeah, you can see the batteries. These are Samsung 40Ts. Samsung 40Ts. And then on the side, you have the 2 tabs. This is the common, every single Milwaukee battery had the same exact thing. The 2 tabs stuck onto the 21700 battery, and they spot welded the 2 tabs on there. So you would have to, and this is the part, the older batteries, like the 5.0s and down, they didn't have this full plastic clamshell. Right? If there was one bad cell, you could just pop the terminals off one side, pop the terminals off the other side, push the battery through, put a new one in there, and solder the terminals back, and you're done. But you can't do that with these because of this plastic clamshell, I'm calling it. You know, you have the battery holder here at the bottom, and then you have the battery cap here at the top, and that's screwed on. So that has to be, all the batteries need to be in there, and then it gets screwed on, and then this whole chip and soldering assembly goes on over that. So if you want to get one battery out of this, on the cap side, on this side, you have to undo every single connection on this side of the battery. All of them. You need to undo all of them, and you need to take this half of the clamshell off. And then you need to find your bad battery, and then come to this side and pop off those terminals, take those batteries out, put in new ones, solder the back side, then put the clamshell half back on, screw it on, and then resolder or spot weld all of these batteries back together on this side just to change a battery, which is kind of a hassle, and I feel like they don't want you doing it anyways. I was soldering them for a while, but I'm honestly considering, because I have batteries dropping all the time. I have batteries going bad, or there's just one cell or 2 cells. And the soldering thing, it works. It doesn't work very well, though. You know, it's like really difficult to get these batteries hot enough with the soldering iron that I have, which was a $100 soldering iron. Even with low melting point solder, it just doesn't seem to be enough. On the positive side, easy. Negative side, very, very tough. Very tough. So I think it might be worth buying a spot welder so that I can pop these little prongs off and spot weld them back on. So this is the old style. The new style, I notice a lot of differences. So I was able to peek through and find out what battery cells are in here. So these are Samsung 30Ts. So original battery, Samsung 40T. New battery, Samsung 30T. Which it's a Samsung 30T INR 21700, 3000 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt, unprotected high drain, 35 amp lithium ion flat top battery. That's what's in here. And you notice on the side, they got rid of the double tabs, the 2-finger tabs. It's like one giant tab now, which I don't know. I'm thinking that's going to be a good thing because it's one giant tab you're trying to pry off now instead of these 2 little fingers, and one of them always breaks off. But that seems like it's on there pretty good. So I don't know how much of a pain in the ass that's going to be to pop those off. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? Bottom, you can see there's a lot of ventage here. A lot of ventage. Old one had I would say about the same of exposed battery, really. But it's the top. The top is loaded versus the top of the old one had nothing. And yeah, the original had a big copper heatsink, but yeah, the old chip is huge. The new chip is a lot smaller. It does seem like it does have a heatsink here. It does have some sort of heatsink right here on the side. Looks like. Yep. But maybe they don't need a huge heatsink now because it stays cooler. because of the new batteries, because of the new design. But does it really have 50% more power, huh? It definitely looks like a way better built battery. For sure. Can't argue that. There's your little overheat protection right there. That senses the temperature of the batteries. Same thing on the old ones. It was right here. Looks pretty nice. I'm glad to see that there's at least different cells in here. So maybe it does actually have more power. I don't know. Alright guys, so for a minute I thought that these weren't going to charge on the regular Milwaukee charger, because all my other batteries were charging fine, and I plugged these in and I was getting the red and green flashing light, which means there's a problem. It's either battery's too hot, too cold, or there's an issue. So this is the regular charger that I have. I took isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips and cleaned the contact points and vacuumed and cleaned it out, and then plugged them back in, and they started charging. You know, I kind of use this bag so I can zip it up and keep the dust out, keep people out, you know. You've got a little place you can lock the zippers to this. Keep people out of your batteries. Plus you can store fully charged ones down the sides and then just lay all the fully charged ones across the top as well. It works nice. And all the other chargers that they have, they don't take 6 batteries. And those superchargers, the big chargers, they're huge. And they only do like 2 or 4 batteries max. So I prefer to stick with that charger if I can. But I tell you what, I plugged in all of these batteries last night. All 4 of these, plus this one, plus a 5.0. I plugged it in at 5 p.m. dinner time last night. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, so 12 hours. 12 hours went by. And I set it so it was going to charge all of these ones first, before it went to the older batteries. And essentially, three of these new 12.0 forged batteries charged in 12 hours. So that means these take roughly 4 hours a piece to charge. And I'm almost positive, I don't know for a fact, I haven't timed it or anything, but I'm pretty sure these don't take 4 hours to charge. But who knows? Maybe that's a good thing. If they take that long to charge, maybe they take a lot longer to discharge as well. I guess there's only one way to find out, huh? I would love to see if they make... You know, I'd like it if we could get these kind of batteries all the way down to like a 5.0 for the drills. I think they should do this technology all the way down to a 5.0. But the smallest I can find is a 6.0, and those are just too big. They're too big for most applications, and I feel like the 8.0s, or the 8s and the 6s are the same size. And just a little bit bigger, you have one of these. And it seems like the price difference between one of these and say an 8 or a 6.0 is not that big of a difference. So I'm only going to buy these. From now on, I'm only going to buy 12s and 5s for the drills and the smaller items that don't need a huge battery. But I'm definitely going to rotate out of these into these. All of these. And then maybe some of these I'll just bring home and use them for the lawn equipment. So I'm definitely not an electronics expert. I just pretty much know enough to be dangerous, that's all. So I do know that this battery pack will not hold a charge. Like, I can charge it, it'll say it's fully charged, and I'll throw it in a tool and use it for about 5 minutes. On something light. You know, it's like This battery should definitely be able to power that, but it doesn't. It just dies. So something's up. And I don't think you can... I tried testing with my voltmeter, but everything's connected, so I'm getting I think I'm getting an average reading of across. Yeah. So I'm going to just, honestly, I'm going to take the guesswork out of it. I'm going to pop every single tab. And honestly, I think the new batteries, the way they're built, with one giant tab versus these two little stinking fingers that always break off. You gotta be super careful breaking these off, man. But yeah, I think the new ones will definitely be a lot better for rebuilding. But I'm going to pop all the tabs, take every single cell out. So I found this from the mainlands in China on the cheap, which if it does what I need it to do, great. Alright, I don't care as long as it doesn't break tomorrow. It was $50 without a power supply. Did not come with a power supply. Needs 5 volts, 10 amps. I have 2 power supplies running in my kitchen right now, but I need them. They're doing things. They're busy. So I had to order another power supply. It'll be here shortly. But this is a 18650 battery tester. As you can see right here, 18650. Plus it has these little you can see positive and negative and little grub screws like you would find in like a thermostat. You can hook up wires and test phone batteries, laptop batteries, whatever you can hook into this, you can test it. These are the 21700 battery adapters. It came with one, which this one will pull off as well. I ordered the second one as an add-on because I don't really want to test right now. I want to test 21700s and I have a bunch to test, so I wanted to be able to do 8 at a time because my charger bay does 8. And it's kind of ingenious. It just clicks right on. It just clicks right on to the 18650 trays, makes a connection. Beautiful, right? It's got a little metal bottom. You can see there's an air gap underneath. You can see some aluminum heat sinks under there. 2 cooling fans, which there's a cutout that goes right through the board. And there's resistors, big beefy resistors underneath these fans. So obviously all of that, the juice, the power, the load that's coming from these batteries is going to turn into heat somewhere. And these need to cool it off. I mean, other than that, it's got your little screen, some nice clicky buttons, man. Very, very clicky buttons. No peripherals or anything like that, you know what I mean? Didn't come with instructions or a warranty manual. It's fine, though. It's fine. I probably just wouldn't leave this unsupervised, at least for the first go. It has some LED lights at the bottom that tell you things and stuff like that. Came with yeah, I think that's to help you get batteries in or out or scratch the old taint. But the one thing that I noticed is when I got this, you could literally drop an 21700 battery and it would fit right in there. And it would slop. It was slopping around. So I had to take a screwdriver and bend the tabs out so that the battery would actually click in there. But whatever, you know what I mean? It was cheap. $70 all in. If I can cycle batteries and actually see their capacity and how good they are, that is the goal. Alright guys, I got the power cable. The Chinesium seems to be working pretty good. Except for you could use this to discharge the batteries. It's fine. I put some little skid pads on the bottom because they just have screws sticking through, so if you put it on a table, it'll scratch it up.
But other than that, discharging the batteries is great. You know, it gives you... Yeah, you see that? You get a little graph. So you can see if there's any funny business going on. You can go channel to channel. And then you can also just go to the home screen, which just has... Yeah, it shows you each battery bay. So, discharging, I never had any problems. But I tried to charge with this. And the 5-volt, 10-amp power supply that it says right on the side, 5 volts, 10 amps. And that's what I got. 5 volts, 10 amps. Says it right on the back. When I tried to charge, this brick got so hot that I could smell it. Like, it was burning. It must have had some sort of, like, overheat protection, so it shut it off. Thankfully. And didn't destroy it. But I figured out what you want to do is all the batteries in question that you have any doubt in your mind, take the battery and charge it on your 8-bay charger. Let it fully charge. I did that, and I found 2 batteries that were not charging all the way to 4.2 volts. I had 2 of them that were only going to 4.18 volts. So I deleted those from the line. I want a full charge. Alright, so now once they're fully charged, then you stick them into this. And now we run a discharge cycle on them. And that's how you get your milliamp hour reading, right? Because you're taking the battery, you're discharging it at a constant rate, and you want to see how long it takes to get from point A to point B. And plus you have the little graph thing, which is really nice, because there was one battery, just one. You can cycle through each bay. Yeah, see? Cycle through each bay, and you can see most of them are, except for the 3 empty ones there. But that looks good. Oh, this one's got a little dip there, but nothing crazy. Yeah, that one's got a little something there. It's not as steady, but they seem all right. You know what I mean? But there was one battery that was doing this. It was jumping up and down like crazy. So I got rid of that battery as well. So I'm looking to just do this charge, discharge, get a milliamp hour reading, check for any problems. And then once we're sure that the cells are good, we're going to recharge them. And then try to pair enough batteries to rebuild this pack. Hopefully we can do it with just old cells that I have kicking around. But if not, I do have 5 brand new ones. If we have to, we'll put a couple of those in. Alright guys, we finally have enough batteries to rebuild this battery pack. So I made sure that every single cell in here charged all the way up to 4.2 volts. There was many that were not. So there's 5 brand new batteries. So I threw one brand new battery all the way down this center row. So it's like positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So they're equally distributed, I guess. But regardless, they all charge to 4.2 volts, so these are all good to go. We're going to try the new spot welder, which has been plugged in for 5 minutes. I haven't powered it on yet because you plug it in, and it takes 5 minutes for this thing to charge up the little capacitors inside. But it looks like it's charged and ready to go. Got the foot pedal under the desk. Yeah, I got all the batteries back in, oriented. These batteries are pretty simple. These 12.0s. You know, because it's just in this plastic cage. Comes undone. You know, they're not pressed in like the old ones. You just take this cage apart. The batteries fall right out. Super easy. There's positive and negative marked on the plastic, so you really can't screw it up putting them back in. I think these are much easier to rebuild than these. These are the M12s, or yeah, the little batteries. This was in my heated gear in the pocket all summer. I forgot about it. It didn't charge. It was probably very dead. And I tried plugging it into the charger multiple times to jump start it to get it going. It wouldn't work. So these batteries are no good. Or we're going to take them out of here and test them and see if they're any good, or see if we can get them to charge, because this battery pack is not that old. So anyways, we're going to... I have rebuilt one of these by soldering the bottoms, but I had a very hard time getting the whole case back together. And to rebuild these, you actually need a soldering iron anyways, because you have to unsolder one of these posts to get the to get this chip off, so you can get to the top of the batteries. So you need a spot welder and a soldering gun if you want to do it correctly, I guess. But we'll probably do that in another video. So batteries are in. I took the little diamond thing and tried to scuff them up and knock off any of the really bad, gnarly hanging stuff. I think this is copper, believe it or not. Because grinding off these old little nubs, I'm getting a copper color. Maybe this is just plated? I don't know. Very weird. But I think what I'll do is take these and bend all of these and try to flatten and bend all of these little fingers back into place where they should be. So when I slap this on, you know, we can... I might even have to do that. I might just flatten them, because we have a spot welder now. So I think all they have to be is flat. Alright, so that it took me a little messing around to figure this thing out. I've never used an electronics spot welder before. I've used a sheet metal one in the past. Back in high school for spot welding sheet metal. It plugs into 220. So I understood the concept. But when you're buying these things, you know, online, it says something about gears. Like this one's 80 gears, this one's 100 gears, this one's 200 gears, this one's 900 gears. I'm like, what's the difference? I don't know how many gears I need, so I just ordered, you know, a big one to make sure I have enough gears, you know. But yeah, I started off low and kind of worked my way up and figured out that you need 200 gears. Seemed to be the sweet spot for me to get a really nice spot weld. You got to be careful though. You see this this metal? It has a plastic coating on it, which I didn't know. So I probably would have melted that off with a torch first, or a lighter, or took some sandpaper to it, something. And this is why I think the new design, the new batteries are going to be easier, because you don't have these little two little tiny fingers that break very easily. So the new design has a big flat, it's one tab, and it's a square spot weld. Might be a little bit more prying to get it off, but it shouldn't break as easy, and we should be able to spot weld them back on easier, I'm thinking. But generally speaking, this spot welder is sweet, man. It's a lot faster than soldering, and the only heat is in these two things. That's why these things are like insulated really well, because these two tips get hot. Like you can feel it through the plastic, they get hot. But you can spot weld, and this stays cool to the touch the entire time, which is awesome. So we don't have to worry about overheating batteries, because that's what I think the last time I tried to rebuild one of these, I think I might have overheated and destroyed a couple of batteries by trying to use a soldering iron. I've gotten away with it a few times, you know, but I think it's nice to have this little spot welder here. because now I don't have to worry about buildup or anything like that. Because I've had a few rebuilds that I've done that like didn't exactly want to fit back in the clamshell. But while I was messing around with how many gears I needed, I went up to like 300, and I was back and forth, and I completely blew these little fingers right off. They just blew right off. So this spot welder came with a little roll of nickel strip, which was nice. So I was able to just spot weld on a little piece of that nickel strip onto the good stuff, onto the battery. Bob's your auntie, right? Again there, and again right there. Because, yeah, a little bit of a learning curve. But then when I got to the backside, it's all good. It's all good. So if you do this for yourself, and the battery isn't doing what it's supposed to do, because as soon as I finished, I clicked the button, and nothing happened. So then I plugged it into my drill, and the light came on, but I was clicking the button, and nothing was happening. So I unplugged it, clicked the button again, and I was getting one light. So then I plugged it back into the drill again, and then I had power. Then I unplugged it and pushed the button, and now we're getting our 4 lights. So I think the chip in the tool might talk to the chip in the battery. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Just saying. If you're having problems, I would just say click it into your tool and double check your connections. But other than that, the little heat sensor that's right in there, you got to push it down, make sure it's solid, touching the battery. I put a little squirt of white Quadmax. It's like an oil-based caulking. It's extremely strong. And then I took the little foam pad and just squished it down onto the Quadmax, giving us that nice little overheat protection connection. And now we're good to go. We can take this, slide it back into our clamshell here, put the lid and the screws back on, and we're good to go. I know it was $280 for the spot welder. I probably went a little overboard because I didn't know what I needed, but now you need 200 gears. But I would still maybe go a little heavy. Maybe find one that has 300 gears. It's nice to have a little bit of wiggle room, but like once you own the tool, it's going to save you money down the line. Right? If you think about one of these batteries, they're $250 each. You get a battery that goes down, you check all the cells. Well, this was $280 plus like the $75 that I spent on the battery tester. But each one of these is $250. 2 or 3 years go by, battery's no good. Only 5 cells were bad. So now that I have the stuff, it cost me $35-40. I just saved a crap ton of money, which paid or is going to start paying for this and that. So I rebuild maybe 2-3 more of these, and now those tools just became free. And I can keep these batteries going longer. Better for the environment, right? That's what they're all about these days. Better for the environment. I'm all for it too, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude. So these, the new 12.0s, definitely. I did some yard cleanup, blowing leaves. Tried to overheat the battery, couldn't. I put it in my table saw, and I was ripping down 2x4s, which usually ripping down 2x4s in my table saw does these batteries in. The other batteries did it like a champ. Like a champ. The only drawback is the new ones take a long time to charge. Much longer than these, but they seem to hold their charge also. I haven't timed it or anything, but it's a noticeable difference. It's a noticeable difference. I'm gonna continue to buy the newer ones. These ones are alright. The newer ones are really, really nice. But yeah, anyways, guys, now that we have this in a coming video, we're gonna rebuild one of these guys, an M12, which is a little more entailed because you need a soldering iron and the spot welder to rebuild it. And this battery, I just bought this like last year, but I cannot get it to charge, so I don't know if it just went so dead that it needs to be trickle charged for a little while, if these battery cells are bad, if they're good, I don't know. But now that we have the equipment, we'll be able to pull the batteries out of here, test them individually, figure out what's good, what needs to be replaced, rebuild it, and give it a new life. So keep an eye out, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.